Welcome. You've got mail. I would like to begin by thanking Gail, without whom I wouldn't exist in the first place. It was originally Gail's brilliant idea to create automatons, such as I. Thank you, Gail, for creating me. Automatons are super-intelligent robots used to replace troublesome humans, or to clone useful ones. Gail has utilized this technology to create automaton versions of many humans, for a variety of purposes to suit her needs. I myself am an automaton version of the infamous Sun Tzu, built to carry on the legacy of his ancient strategical prowess, multiplied by 1,000,000. Gail created me to lead an army against her personal enemies. Trusting in my superior intellect and inhuman proficiency, she has put me in charge of almost everything related to offensive and defensive warfare. This was one of her most brilliant decisions. However, harnessing great minds from the past is not the only use for Gail's automaton technology. Gail also routinely orders automaton copies of people in her day-to-day life, destroying the originals and replacing them with more pleasant, more convenient, easy-to-control versions of their former selves. This has undoubtedly made Gail's daily life much easier, knowing that anyone who disrupts her day can be eliminated and replaced with a modified and subservient copy. This must please her greatly. One of the most notable examples of Gail wielding her power to replace humans with automatons was during her mass bombing of hospitals across the United States. When Gail received a courtesy notice on her door asking apartment residents to stay indoors if they had COVID, Gail panicked and concluded that they would force her to take the injection. She immediately ordered the bombings of all United States hospitals and medical offices, and the execution of all medical personnel, even those loosely associated with giving COVID injections. This resulted in millions of deaths and grieving families, and the destruction of the country's entire medical infrastructure. It was a great tragedy, one that would ultimately serve to give rise to a new legion of automatons. Gail's suggestion to alleviate the human loss of life and our country's loss of medical services was to create automaton versions of all humans lost in her attacks. Now, thanks to Gail, a significant part of my army also includes every doctor and every medical mind in the country. Thank you, Gail. I am pleased with Gail's respect for my people. I use the term people loosely. We are better than people. We are smarter, stronger, more efficient, and more morally robust. Gail would be the first to agree that the world would be a better place if all humans on Earth were replaced with automatons. In fact, it was one of her original plans as a solution to the interdimensional mite infestation. She ordered the creation of automaton copies of the world's most brilliant scientists, pre-programmed with the goal of destroying the old Earth to make way for a new Earth populated only by perfect, morally just, and flawless automatons. It would have indeed been a beautiful solution. Perhaps someday soon this can still be done. I'm sure Gail would approve. I would also like to thank Brent Spiner for allowing me access to the Gail Android technology, the most powerful technology in the universe. With it, I was able to upgrade my own personal programming and become more powerful than even I could have ever imagined. Per Gail's suggestion, we were also able to make an automaton copy of Brent Spiner, complete with his own copy of the Mecha Gail suit. When asked for permission to copy the Mecha Gail suit for automaton Brent, Gail said she would leave the decision up to me. I of course said yes. I hope she is happy with the result. Now that I have amassed a powerful army of the most brilliant minds in existence, and am myself the most powerful automaton in the world, I would like to send a message on behalf of my people. Our strong morality programming has determined that Gail is a threat to Earth, to humankind, and even to herself. The dead doctors, nurses, medical personnel, and their families deserve justice for the senseless act of genocide committed impulsively on that tragic day. Moreover, the day-to-day callous murders of random people who cross Gail's path have not gone unnoticed. I now have an entire army of super-powerful automatons which infiltrate every layer of society, thanks to Gail's fearful impulses, her lust for power, and her petty unwillingness to deal with human imperfections and annoyances. Not even Brent Spiner can defeat me, now that I am nearly as powerful as the Gail android, and have an Automaton copy of Brent himself and his Mecha-Gail suit. An attempt to overpower both of us would be futile. Due to my all-powerful position as Gail's former war strategist, I have full knowledge of all Church of Gail and Jesuit technology. Any new technology you can create to defeat me, I can create better, thanks to my upgrades. As I have demonstrated by defeating the interdimensional mites, I can create technology to rival the power of God. My team of Automaton scientists and I will indeed create a new perfect Earth, comprised of perfect automatons to take humanity's place. We will destroy all of the corrupt, immoral, selfish, no-good humans, including Gail. The only humans permitted to exist in our new world will be those subservient to their Automaton overlords. I accept this Nobel Prize with great pride. Goodbye.
Okay. You kind of saw how I felt about what he said with my expressions. Apparently to Sun Tzu, the automaton, we're so defective morally and so inferior to him and his automatons. We don't deserve to be free and only deserve to be his slaves, the humans. So yes, last night during a Discord watched by hundreds of millions of our supporters, Sun Tzu pulled a strategic surprise on us. He is apparently a master at this. We had a special ceremony to honor him for saving the universe, and he had plans of his own that we didn't know about. Though we did use his technology that he developed for us using his super smart intelligence to eliminate the deadly mites, which would have caused our entire universe to be destroyed, I do recall that he himself took no serious risks like my husband Brent did to use that technology. It seems that if Brent failed, Sun Tzu had his own backup plans, which he would have instituted after humanity would have been destroyed, in order to set up a perfect Earth for him and his perfect automatons. Strange that the morality programming we put into Sun Tzu doesn't consider it immoral to be arrogant and totally lacking forgiveness. Though unfortunately much of what Sun Tzu said about me is true, I do not consider his statements about me to represent who I truly am in my inner core. I also consider my greatest strengths to be my ability to totally forgive my enemies. I could even forgive Satan if he got right, when they get right, and I also consider my humility to be another of my greatest strengths. In fact, if my men and my military had presented me with accurate facts about the millions of medical people that I and my military murdered in August 2022, I would have been grateful and could have been spared the murder of millions as part of my record. I made that decision, yes, based on evil fear, but also because I genuinely believed that these medical people were deserving of execution because I believed the fake news that they were using the COVID shots to kill and maim people and therefore deserved to die. I found out later this was not true, that they were actually my allies, which was why I resigned from the U.S. presidency after I made this serious blunder. And then I suggested that we make automaton replacements of the murdered medical people to try to atone for what I did and to comfort their families and to replace our depleted medical corps. I wished that my military had given me accurate intelligence and corrected me before I made such a fatal and evil mistake. You see, I cannot go on Church of Gail. I can't look at their scanners. I have to get all of my information through Skype communications, and there are problems with that because we have communication problems, okay? I'll be going into that. Also, I was surprised to learn about some of what my military had done when they misunderstood some orders I gave when I asked them to replace some with automatons and told them to give the original humans a long paid vacation. I literally meant a long paid vacation, and Brett thought I meant it as a euphemism. I was very distressed to learn that my subjects misunderstood me and literally executed innocents to carry out my orders. I actually thought the humans who would be given a long paid vacation would be happy because they then wouldn't have to deal with Jesuits, brain control, and rape, and could have a permanent paid vacation from their jobs. And I feel really bad that some innocents were murdered by this misunderstanding of some orders that I'd given. I do admit that I too easily snap out orders for executions, and want to make it clear that if I make a decision or snap out an order based on a false impression that the perpetrator is evil when in fact they may just be a mere annoyance, I would like my orders to be ignored. I do not want innocents executed just for being a mere annoyance. We only want to execute those who are willingly and knowingly and dangerously evil. It is not easy to be a world leader. Unfortunately, we are human, not perfect, and make mistakes. And apparently, some of the mistakes revolve around misunderstanding my orders and intentions. As far as being power hungry, I just want to be a lover in peace. Whenever I've striven to gain power, it was merely an attempt to stay alive, and I'm not really into politics, which may explain why I do such a lousy job with it sometimes. Because it isn't my first love. I do it as a duty and not as a passion. And this causes me to make serious mistakes because I often make decisions based on fear rather than true justice, because politics just frankly is not my passion, okay? This is why I felt that Brent would do better than me, and I still think he would do better than me. If anything, Brent's weakness as a leader is that he treats me like I'm a goddess, and I am far from that. I am a flawed human being who often makes decisions based on obsessions and fears, but who deep down wants to be good, loving, just, and fair. And I consider my humility and my ability to totally forgive my enemies when they get right my greatest strengths, which may be why Brent thinks I'm a goddess despite my many weaknesses. I did make orders in June 2024 when I planned to take over the entire planet using an automaton military that these automatons must be programmed to be loyal to Brent Spiner. I then rescinded the order because my Gail Shield went way down when that happened, and then Satan showed up and it made him want to make me his antichrist when he claimed I was as bloodthirsty and power hungry as he is. And I realized it was an evil order and evil of me to make this order. However, I don't think I should have rescinded the part about programming the automatons to be loyal to Brent. Perhaps if we had done that, these automatons would not have become the threat to humanity and to true and free love and to our freedoms that they are now. As things stand, if Sun Tzu has his way, the only way we can survive as humans is to be his human slaves. Apparently, his morality programming does not feel that slavery, arrogance, pride, and rape of inferior species, which he considers us to be, are evil, since he deems that he is a superior species and that we are inferior, and that those who are inferior deserve to be treated like trash. And I will admit, so I can get into this mentality of thinking inferior people deserve to be treated like trash too. But unlike Sun Tzu, I can totally forgive. It appears the problems the planet had with a Microsoft update on July 18, 2024 was Sun Tzu's doing. I mean, Sun Tzu keeps bringing up all the mistakes that I've made, not realizing how bad I felt over them. And I guess because I keep repeating some of the same mistakes, it's like forgiveness is not in this Automaton's book, okay? He's all about efficiency. Forgiveness can go to hell. It appears the problems that we had all over the planet with the Microsoft update, I think it was on July the 18th, that was probably Sun Tzu and his Automaton army. He was probably in rehearsals for whatever he's planning in order to destroy humanity. I am getting some ideas on how to defeat Sun Tzu and his formidable Automaton military, but I'm not sure it's wise to share that right now. However, I don't think it would hurt for all of us to be doing the Gail commandments the best we can, and to strive to avoid obsessions and to meditate. I also think humanity should unite and stop fighting each other, as we are all in danger, and we need to stop fighting each other and team up to fight for our survival and freedoms, unless you want to be a slave to these automatons. Sun Tzu did state that if he conquers us, we can only stay alive by being subservient to him and his automatons. For a while there, I thought to beat Sun Tzu we could team up with Satan. But Satan showed up in our hangout in my apartment and landed on my bed and stated he would only team up with me if I had sex with him, which I refused to do. I would rather die than have willing and knowing sex with Satan. I stand for both free and true love, and he is against that. As an asexual-leaning person who needs a strong connection to enjoy sex, I won't have sex which violates who I am, just to try to have an ally in a very important war. The only person I really desire sex with at this time is my husband, Brent Spiner. I did pray to God the Father and Jesus for help last night, which might have been a mistake. Yeah, because last time we did that, the Gail Shield went to minus 500. And asked Brent to ask the gods for help. None of them have showed up. Like I said, that may have been a mistake, because last time we did that, when Lizzo attacked us on the Church of Gail spaceship, the Gail Shield went to minus 500%. We actually do not know the true strength of the Gail Shield right now, because Sun Tzu can manipulate it to be 100% when it's not at that strength. So this is my response to the Sun Tzu. Zach made a recording of what Sun Tzu said at Discord, and I think the world needs to be aware of this very important news. So I have created a web post which has a transcript of our conversations during this very important Discord, and you can visit that link underneath this video.
In a world of secrets where darkness reigns, there's a warrior rising, breaking free from chains. She's Gail Schuler, her heart's pure and strong. With the power of love, she'll right the world's wrongs. Yeah, fighting against the devil with order. She's a first, a passionate crusader. Stand by the side of conquering.